But while this was happening, I heard this big pow, and my power went out.
Oh no!
And so it was like, I think what happened was they closed off the road for a few days. They were one of the power lines came loose or broke. I mean, there was trees uprooted in the streets. It was pandemonium, for a couple days here after that storm. Speaking of power, though, we did this special power on the grid. You remember that? We talked a lot about the grid and its resiliency.
The efficiency of the grid. Yeah, the efficiency and the resilience.
Or the lack thereof, maybe.
The need to upgrade the grid. Yeah, I remember all that.
So, one thing in there kind of struck me was that we looked up this data, and over the last, it was, I think, 30 years, power outages have increased eight times as much as they were 30 years ago. Well, we need power, right? There's a lot of cool things coming up in the future that we're going to need a lot of power for.
Oh yeah, of course, a lot of things. Like if we're to make strides for humanity, for manufacturing and making civilization better, we need more of this power.
We do. I mean, one small step for man here we got to have. So, yeah, power is going to be important, not just because we want to have our air conditioners work, which we do, right? But there's going to be a lot of technological advancements which have happened or are going to continue to happen that are going to improve our lives.
Less power consumption can take place with data centers if we utilize more efficient cooling, power management, and hardware systems.
Well, the data centers themselves can be more efficient. They're saying there's several things
there you go.
Can do.
That's another thing where we could maybe save power by looking for efficiencies in the data centers, right?
Like the power management system, the cooling of it. So
cooling. How much does a data center need? How much power is consumed by just cooling down the servers and the storage?
It's at least 30 to 40%.
That's a lot. I mean, that's just to cool it down,
Yeah.
Because you're creating all that heat in there. That's a lot. So it's a double whammy. You're creating more heat, and then you create all this electricity and heat just to cool it back down again. so that's a huge power suck right there.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. How can we do more? How can we make more efficiencies in there? You think in the data centers?
Cooling. Well, they've been talking about water cooling, but like using under immersion. So like you would have water around it. They put them in containers. I think Microsoft's trying to do this.
Yeah, Microsoft. That's right. That's a good idea.
You put them in there, so waters cover it, or you use solvents that aren't water that boil at a lower temperature, so that it cools it off around the computer chips.
Be like having a radiator in your engine,
Cool it down. So there's several things they're trying to do. Those are a few I can think of, but
yeah, because having all these ACs, these big, huge HVAC systems, chillers that are just pumping in cool air all the time could be a little more efficient. I think, like you're saying,
I think they could put them underground.
Put them underground
because the heat's that would be much better, for the heating and cooling for it.
And circulate the air that way, and then they cool them off. That would be like a natural air conditioner type of thing. You just need to have a circulation. That'd be great. You were talking about this really innovative thing about maybe putting them in space. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but yeah, put them in space. That should help out. You don't need to cool them up there.
Yeah,
you don't need to cool them up there. Yeah, just put them in satellites, and
they satellite beam down the data. So interesting and innovative idea. Maybe someone will do that. That would be really, and then you would have the solar power up in the sky that would power them all, so we wouldn't necessarily be using it here. So that's a good idea too. Pretty expensive though, probably.
Well, and other two things you could do is also with the hardware itself, you can make the hardware more efficient. Like the chips, make them more efficient. You can make the programming better. Like with the program that do the algorithms to set up the AI application, you can make those better. There's a new better programming. It'll make it more efficient. And it'll use up less power.
Artificial intelligence can even help solve problems with data centers, the electrical grid, and even climate change itself.
So, which leads me to the next question is, since AI can create some of these algorithms, maybe AI can help find some of these efficiencies within their own algorithms, right?
Yeah, they could. That's what
so we could put AI onto that problem a little bit, and they can help out. And Mr. AI can help out a little bit, right?
Yeah, Mr. AI, man. So, yeah, I think what's what's good about that is that AI can also help solve a lot of the climate change problems. So they can help with the power management systems. So the power management systems that's overseeing the data centers could be improved, and other places. And you could extend that to the grid itself, the electrical grid. They could manage the electrical grid much better if it's like an AI or machine learning kind of grid.
Right.
They're already probably doing that, but they're probably steps ahead of what we're thinking already for managing the grid. But I think AI would help out a lot as well. Well, this thought just came to me. Maybe they could help us solve the fusion problem.
Yeah, well, there
They
you go.
use AI, and they can help us solve the fusion problem, and then we would have a lot of power,
Yeah.
Then we can support them and all that,
That's another great idea. Maybe that's what'll happen. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, Dr. Catterman, we'll leave it from there, and I guess we'll leave it there, not leave it from there. All right. Well, all right. So until next time, we'll say conserve what you can and be sensible.